Welcome to the Driven to Succeed Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Olson. And today I have a special guest in Dan Kallas from the Right Thing team, owner, right?
Yes.
Almost 10 years in the business. And you guys started your team about, 3 years ago?
Yeah. It's me and my business partner, Eric Holm, and we established a relationship with Realty Group, and we really haven't looked back. It's been nice.
Yeah, and it's, we've just started our relationship just a few months ago, but I've worked with a number of teams, and I can say firsthand, like, what you guys are doing is pretty awesome. And how you're growing your team. So it sounds like you're the fastest growing team at the Realty Group?
I believe so. Currently, it seems like we're bringing on the most agents with, I will say, the most retention. We started the year with 4 in the beginning of 2024, and we're currently sitting with 20 agents. So yeah, there's been a lot of
that's incredible. That's over one a month.
Yeah,
and it's only November, so
yep. And more importantly, everybody's making money and having fun.
Yeah,
that's the goal.
Yeah, what would you say? This is for real estate agents out there. What do you say is your special sauce? Like, to be able to grow a team like that and so forth.
Sure. Really, what makes us different is that we partner with the agents on where they want to be. So it's not a one size fits all type of team. If somebody works a part-time job, but is looking for opportunities with lead sources and appointments, we can provide that. If somebody's new or experienced, we can work with either one of those. As long as somebody is willing to put in the work, because we say you can't work a part-time job and make a full-time paycheck. As long as somebody's willing to put in the work, if you're new, be coachable. If you're experienced, we'll give you all the opportunities you need. And we set them up for success that way.
Yeah. And that's amazing. I mean, I've, like I said, I've worked with a number of teams. I've seen how they market, how they coach, how they do this, how they do that. And a lot of them, they get a lot of, they take a lot of, like, more of the agents' commissions and so forth. And I think from what you talk about is that you're not focused on that. You really want them to succeed, right?
Yes.
But you're at the same time, you are providing lead sources and helping them, because it's super hard, specifically the last number of years, right?
Yeah.
For real estate agents to make a living,
yeah.
right? And you can only, specifically if you're a younger agent and you've only had a couple of years, like, you only have so many contacts, right? And your sphere is only so big, right? So it's really hard to grow by yourself without a team environment.
Yeah, it seems like the industry is kind of switching more towards the team setup because leads are expensive and, it is difficult, like you said. One of the things that kind of sets us apart as well is the name of the team is the Right Thing team. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And that's how we treat our agents. So we do have more aggressive splits than other teams. We try to treat everybody fairly. Different splits if it's your lead versus ours that we paid for. And really kind of finding that middle ground where we can partner with agents to put them in a good spot, because we're either going to succeed with them on the team or we're all going to part ways as friends and do deals across the table someday. It's this industry is all about relationships, which I'm sure you know.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's, being in the business, I joined in 2015 as well on the mortgage side. And over the last, 9 plus years now, it's, you run across, some of those people that you're going to run across people. It is a small industry overall. On the agent side, there's many more agents than there is on the mortgage side, lenders. But you got to have those relationships, and you don't want to burn any of those bridges, and because it's a small world, right? And if you specifically on the agent side, if you get a lot of bigger listing agents, you definitely don't want to burn any bridges there.
Be surprised how often you run into the same agent.
Right.
A lot of times you're working the same areas, you're writing on each other's listings. Those relationships are very important for not only for a professional relationship, but for your clients. You can get a lot of really great things done for your clients and get offers accepted when you have a good working relationship with somebody versus just the most amount of money.
Right.
You can win multiple offers with less money than the best offer if you have the best team to work with,
Right.
the best lender the
Yep.
best inspector, the best agent, the best buyer that's well coached. Expectations have been set on how things are going to go, and you can convey that and really address the seller's concerns because they have them too. It's not just, the buyer's nervous about getting their offer, the seller's nervous about how everything's going to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's a stressful, emotional transaction, right?
Hmm.
And that's why I say you can't not have buyers agents involved and, can for sale by owners and all this stuff and going on. It really does take a team to have, across the board, right? And when we say team, we're talking on the lending, the buyer side, the seller side. Everybody has their own roles to do, right?
Hmm.
And being that team, having that open communication with the lenders, with so that you're not missing out on anything, and making sure that your clients are getting the best service possible. That's very important to have that relationship established between, I'd look at it from a relationship, like it's like we become friends in this industry, right?
Hmm.
And you like to do business with your friends, so you want to have that on the same side of the table too when you're writing that, when you're going back to that listing
Yep.
and so forth. So the importance of being a team is really key. And like how you guys establish it, and I like how you guys do your meetings weekly, and want to get people out and involved. Pretty fun. Do you have any like upcoming events planned for like Christmas? I threw you off
You put
here.
me on the spot on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Our events are becoming a priority for this coming year,
Yep,
for client events and for team events.
yep.
I feel safe saying that my current teammates would prefer more leads
An
than more
actual,
fluffy stuff right now.
right,
So
right,
in our growth phase, we have been very, very strategic on increasing the ad spend as new agents are coming on. We never want to bring on a new agent to the detriment of the team,
right,
right?
right.
But the more agents that we have, the more success we're seeing as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And we never, fun fact, we never wanted to be the biggest team. We wanted to be the busiest.
Right.
And one of my brokers, Mike, we were talking to him a little over a year ago, and we expressed that sentiment to him. Mike's like, guys, I love that, but you're going to need volume to get there. You need to get more people working with you to experience that type of success, and the light bulb went on.
Right.
And that's the reason for the really just the excessive growth this year, and it's been wonderful. I think
Right.
it's far exceeded everybody on the team's expectations.
Yeah, and I hate that I put you on the spot
Oh,
right
that's
there,
okay.
but it was really enlightening though. Like as I mean, it's the cart before the horse,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And it takes money to have those events first, but
Yes.
by having, being able to provide more leads,
Hmm.
I mean, it's better than a happy hour somewhere, right?
Well, exactly, and I don't mind that you put me on the spot at all, because I try to be an open book,
Right,
and I try to be very authentic just in my normal life. And yeah, I mean, we deal with priorities as a growing team all the time.
right, right,
It's like,
right,
what's the priority? Do we all want to make money and have fun so we can go on vacations as a team in a couple of years,
right.
or do we want to, you know, spend the money on that type of stuff instead of leads where we can, all
Yeah,
go out and
or
make a difference in people's lives.
yeah, from a
Yeah.
business model, being a
Yep.
CEO of the team, and like where are we going to put the usable dollars that
Mhm.
makes the most sense, right?
Yep.
And once you get to that busiest, right, the
Yep.
busiest teams, and you start growing that, then you can start allocating money into those other sources. But I would have to admit, when I first got in the business, if I wasn't on a team and I didn't have those leads coming in, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah.
Likely. I mean,
Yep.
it takes, if you're only just calling your sphere and you're doing your own things, then it's hard,
Hmm.
right? And it's really hard to pay for marketing. Like you can spend, I've been there, I've spent a ton of money on leads over the course of my, but not knowing where to put the money in those leads,
Hmm. A
right?
bit of a leap of faith.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And like, okay, I hope this in 90 days is gonna pan out, right?
Yep.
And sometimes when you're by yourself, if it doesn't, man, that can really be impactful. But
Mhm.
being on a team that can provide those sources for you, And I'm seeing it firsthand on my side with
Hmm.
partnering with you guys. It's been fantastic, and seeing those leads come through, and now seeing the applications coming in, and knowing that we're going to ramp up, and it's November
Yeah.
right now. You know,
Yeah. Well, and everything that you just said, especially considering the last couple of years with the change in market, the interest rates, the leads have never been more important. The opportunity to go meet a potential buyer or client and demonstrate your value to them and earn that business and earn that trust and become a meaningful part of their home buying journey,
hmm
it's all about the opportunity to do that. And that's what we provide.
right.
It's like you said, you can do the sphere stuff all day long and the old scripts. A lot of that stuff's it's just outdated. You can go knock doors all day long. It doesn't mean it's going to be fruitful. We
No,
focus on income producing activities.
right,
And it's not to say don't work your sphere. We love helping people work their sphere. There's a place for that all day long.
right.
We're going to be doing client events this coming year. You've already done the hard work of earning that business and establishing that trust, and that's really what it is. We don't do the quick stereotypical sales on our team. We are doing sales for long-term business. We really do care about that relationship.
Well, and it's we say it over and over. It's such a relationship business,
Hmm.
and um, being able to provide with your agents, you guys built a relationship, right?
Hmm.
And even since we started, I think we started, like, you guys added what, 6 or 7 agents since in the last couple of months, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think 5 actually.
5,
Yeah.
right?
But
Yeah.
tomato, tomato.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
regardless, so I still have to meet some of those agents yet.
Yes.
And but I love that growth phase, and I love what you're doing, and providing those. And then what other mentorship do you guys do with? And what, maybe let me back up. What is your ideal agent?
Sure. Well, it kind of falls back to the team name. Eric and I, we went round and round on how do you wrap up your identity into a single name for a team?
Right.
It's him and I, we've known each other since back in the day of Timber Lodge Steakhouse.
Yeah.
For you Minnesota people, you'll understand that one. But we struggled. We struggled a lot. We came up with a team name. I won't talk about it too much. We were clear on the state website, but we did not know, in our inexperience, to check the federal trademark database. And
Uh-huh.
we did not know of them, but we picked a very, very popular team here. And the very first listing, my broker got a email saying, "Hey, their name's dangerously close to ours that we built a brand around for like 20 years." And he was super gracious about it, really, really cool. And we were kind of under the gun.
Right.
And so we had about 2 weeks or so to get our name changed and,
Hey, you don't know
and
what you
maintain
don't
that
know, right?
relationship. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, exactly. And like I said, he couldn't have been more cool about it.
Yeah.
So finally, I just came up with it. I was like, Eric, you and I, we were raised this way. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Why don't we just do right thing team? He said, yeah, okay, I don't have anything better. But it's growing on us.
Yeah.
And it's making such a difference. We believe in service-led sales and service-led leadership. To your kind of your next question on how we're available for them. We built the team to help agents build their business. And that's why we have the different setups on the commission structure for the team leads that we provide versus the ones for them. Because every appointment that we can get them and a client that they can earn their business is future business for them.
Right.
And what I said earlier, I meant with Realty Group, it's 100% brokerage. If they decide to break away and do their own thing, we're probably still in the same brokerage,
Right.
still colleagues to a certain extent.
Right.
We're building that longevity. So as far as, if it's a new agent, and we have agents from all spectrums on the team. We have agents that have been doing it for 33 years looking for opportunities to meet more clients. And we have some brand new agents that have never done a deal. But between Eric and I, we're always available. And then we have a team chat on top of that. So,
So you guys help each other out, right?
oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
everybody does, right?
Yeah.
So
It's a mindset of plenty, not scarcity.
right.
We're not afraid to collaborate. We're not afraid to try new things. Um, they always say there is no stupid question. Well, there isn't, especially in real estate. Every deal's
Oh,
different.
geez, everyone. There's so much that can go one way or another in a transaction. whether it's on the mortgage side or it's on the real estate side, and in the team, where the industry has gone in the team settings, you know, we had talked about this earlier. The average team or member is across the industry is what, 18 months is
Yeah.
what you mentioned?
Yep. Yeah. And, we've had people on our team for years. We've only recently lost one agent, and, just full disclosure, we left on great terms like we hoped. And she went and parked the license at a place that doesn't do a monthly fee. And, she'll do deals when they come to her, but she has a full-time job, and that's okay.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, right now, everybody is doing well. They seem to really enjoy being part of the team. And it's going to be very, very exciting to see what kind of numbers we can produce with our, dare I say, new model
Yep.
of more of a partnership and less of a buyer's agent model, or and they have their place. I'm not knocking that model. It's just not ours. And every agent I interview, trust me, doesn't join up with us.
Right.
The vast majority of them, like any, recruiting type situation, they like what they're doing, or something fits better for them. But for us, I'm very excited to see the longevity with the agents.
Yeah. And I mean, it's got to go both ways, right?
Mhm.
You can't just take everybody on and, I think you said it best. You look for, are they coachable?
Mhm.
Right? And that's usually number, and are they, can you get a good feel that how they're going to treat their clients, right? Because
Yep.
ultimately it's your brand,
Yep.
right? And, who gets the call if something doesn't go right,
Yep.
right?
Yes, absolutely. And we don't overcomplicate things. It's the KISS method. You keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
And you will see that as an agent, when you grow your business and you do the things that we have spent, a decade figuring out, Eric and I, that your conversion rate is going to be substantially higher than the industry average, especially for web leads. On any given month, Eric and I's conversion rate is about 30%. So if you go meet 3 new potential buyers, or excuse me, 10, you're going to demonstrate enough value with 3 that you're going to be able to help them all the way to close in their home buying journey.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, the industry average. I remember when we were looking at like 7% closing ratio on Zillow leads.
It's the Zillow average is 4.4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so we were almost double.
Yeah.
and that wasn't great, right? And it cost a lot. That's where, going back to, if you're buying leads on your own, it costs a lot of money and get deep really fast.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to dig that way out. But when at a team setting, now that you've built that busyness and you've built that war chest,
Yep.
to go into these markets like we're in,
Yes.
it helps.
Yeah. I once upon a time I was in the insurance market. The law of large numbers is pushed heavily in schooling for that. And yeah, the bigger pool you have to work from, the more consistent results you're going to see. And that's exactly one of the benefits of being on a team, is they're able to do that.
Right.
As a new agent, without that, it takes a fair amount of capital to find the numbers you need to be successful. And if things don't go well and you have a run of bad luck, it's painful.
Yeah, it can be very painful. I've been part of that, and then I've jumped into my own things without knowing. And hindsight's always like going to that hindsight 2020 thing. Man, I could have saved a lot of money,
Yeah.
and look for different ways to do things. But hey, you live and learn, and it is what it is.
I can't tell you how often we coach our agents based off of learn from my pain and my mistakes,
Right.
and the money it's cost me.
Exactly.
Most lessons in life are either expensive or painful or both. It's like, sure, let's not repeat that.
Right. So where is your offices located at? Like, where are you primarily located?
Gotcha. For recording purposes, we're out of the Coon Rapids office with Realty Group, but Realty Group has offices all over the metro. And we have agents all over the metro, and we're looking to expand our markets. We'll be in the Brainerd Lakes area come January. I have a couple of agents that are interested up there. We're working on Duluth. We plan on being a number 1 team in Minnesota. It's just a matter of when.
Nice.
So we do virtual meetings Mondays and Fridays. We keep everybody on the same page. Though, we don't micromanage our agents. So if they can show up, great. There's going to be value for you. If you can't, you're working another job or you're busy with showings, whatever it might be, that's fine too. You're not going to get a phone call from me saying, where were you? Um, I quite honestly, that sounds awful. I don't want
Right.
to micromanage somebody.
Well, and you expect everybody to be professional, right?
Well, exactly.
And, that's, when I was, I haven't been so much in the growth phase until just recently, and like how I want to grow a business, because we had to contract a lot.
Mhm.
But when I, looking for somebody, the biggest thing that I look for is like, hey, you know, their personality, can they sell, right?
Hmm.
And I've always been of the belief, if you treat people right, you can sell.
Yes, exactly. Service led sales.
Right.
100%. It's
Right.
so for us, it's more of, can you treat people well? Are you sorry, but the bar's pretty low. Are you a decent human being?
100%. Right. Right.
Can you take some constructive criticism and apply what works and make it your own?
Right.
If I tell you what I do that works, can you just tweak it, make it your own, and make it work for you?
Right.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Exactly. All right. So you'd mentioned, I want to get into a little bit about Dan.
Sure.
And like, so you had mentioned the Timber Lodge
Yeah.
Steakhouse, right? And is there any Timber Lodges left?
My understanding is one of the original franchise or owners has a franchise in Owatonna.
Right on.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's a little too far south for me to go there for the mosquito bites platter for a nap and get the prime rib and the palm onion nugget. But yeah, it was good at its time.
Yeah.
It was very good.
So talk about that. Talk about your journey and how you got to real estate. Like, what was that like?
Sure. So I mean, my mom worked with Eric. Eric's 10 years older than me to the day. And I remember as a little kid, I would go in with my mom and my brothers to help clean the restaurant for what was called timber tender. It was restaurant money. So we go and eat there as a family as a
Yeah.
result of that. And I do have to give some props to my mom and dad. I was so blessed with wonderful parents and just set me up for a life of success just by my upbringing, instilling those morals, the work ethic. They're the type of people that have missed 5-6 days of work their whole life. That's that type of person. But we'd be there. The littlest ones would take the baseboards with the towel and you'd run off. And then, I was the middle child. So take what you want out of that. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I do all the middle stuff. And my brother, older brother, get all the lights. And my mom would do whatever she needed to do. So I've known Eric since I've been about 8.
Wow.
And then I started there as a busser at 16, got into serving, and I did everything up to management. And so Eric and I have a long working history. And then in 2015, I had a friend that wanted to flip houses. And so at this point, I was no longer in restaurants. It's full time. I don't remember what I was doing, but it doesn't matter. And I said, sure, that sounds great. So I went and got my license. And he bought a house that required its own work, and him and I never did anything. But I stumbled into a career that I ended up doing like 13 transactions my first year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I didn't know that was good at the time.
Right.
But I also didn't know, because I was a sole agent, how to keep my foot on the gas.
Right.
And how to use that to leverage more business. So I kind of drifted for a little while in real estate. And a few years later, Eric texts me and says, hey, Dan, come talk to my broker. I have 7 closes this month. And I'm like, well, it's January. I should probably at least have a conversation, right?
Right.
And so I got recruited to the team. And in a year's time, I figured out my exit strategy. Eric and I talked, and I needed X in the bank. I had a wife, a kid, a mortgage, all that fun stuff. Straight commission can be a very scary thing. So I busted my butt. I was managing a breakfast place and selling real estate. And I saved up my money and I gave my notice, and I left 1 month before the pandemic. And all those unemployment checks that I missed out on for the year. But I had a record year. So, it only kills me a little bit still. It's only been, nearly 5 years.
Could have got a bunch of money for free and still been able to do your job.
A month or something. Yeah. But, it's fine. It's fine. Life is good.
One month before it started, right?
And then so there, and now I'm working with Eric. We're at a little independent shop, kind of a boutique brokerage. And I got a leadership position alongside with him, and we continue to grow that team. Well, that team that broker was going to go to Florida, and we needed a place that just had a little bit more support. He was great. And we ended up with Realty Group, just Eric and I again, because we want, you do the right thing. If we didn't swipe a bunch of agents on the way out or anything like that, we were going to go build a team.
Yep.
And that's what we've done.
Well, awesome. And, I'm glad you gave your parents a shout out too.
Yeah.
And, because leadership comes from just that, right? I've always tried to lead by example. And like, if I'm not working, why would I expect you to work?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And, it's, and I've been many managers over my career that, I just look at their work ethic and whatnot. And you just can't have that. You got to lead it. If you're going to be a leader, you got to lead by example, right? And that's what it's instilled in you. And, that's why I love that, when we're talking about relationship, talk about building teams. And that's what I want everybody to know is like what you are, what you can do, what you can provide. And, you're looking out for their best interests. And that's why you are the right thing team.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. And, that goes back even to restaurants. If there was a new side work that needed to be enacted as a manager, I was the one doing it first. Because why would I ever ask somebody to do something I wasn't willing to do? And that's the same thing with real estate. We don't give busy work. We don't track KPIs to the nth degree. Income producing activities. Otherwise, what are we doing?
Right.
You spend, some agents out there spend half their day doing, number tracking. I want half your day showing houses and writing offers.
Right.
And the other half prospecting and following up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. That's the best thing you can do. And so, and I don't know if you can delve into you don't want to get into this too much, but you have a new showing thing with Zillow. Do you want to get into that a little bit, or
how
that works?
We can talk about that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with Zillow, there's something called real-time touring. So if you're a buyer out there, if you go to Zillow and you want to tour a home and you don't have an agent yet, you can click the touring button, and they will connect you with one of their premier agents. It is an invite thing. So you're going to end up with a person or a team that has demonstrated to Zillow that they're among the best in their field. And then you're going to get a text message from that agent introducing themselves and confirming the appointment. So that has been a tremendous tool for our team and our buyers, agents to be able to get in front of people at the house. And Zillow will send you a real-time touring agreement, and it's just demonstrates, how the showing that day works on with the new laws and the changes. And Minnesota's been doing that stuff for a long time, but just describing, the relationship between the agent and the buyer at that time. So that's the only thing they have to sign. It's not a binding contract. And that's how we like to do business before the new laws changed in August, it was, right?
Yeah.
And it's go out, demonstrate your value. We're never there to pitch them the house and, sell them that house. And there's this stereotype that exists that, it's like, sorry, furniture salesman, when you go into the furniture store and they're all circling because, they're never that busy, but they need the space, and you feel like you're, just being swarmed by sharks. Well,
right.
We don't do that. It's like, I'll tell people in the driveway, hey, I'm not here to sell you the house. Let's have a meaningful conversation about what it is you're looking for in a home. And, let's have that conversation. And
if it happens to be this house,
then sometimes it is.
Right.
Maybe 5% of the time.
Right.
Well,
that's what I brought that up because the only reason why you guys got that is because of your performance with Zillow.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So that's what I wanted to bring that value to any agents out there that are looking to maybe jump from a team or join a team. That you guys have provided your worth with Zillow to be able to offer that, because not everybody gets that. You said it's invite only, right?
It is. Yes.
Yep. So with your performance with Zillow, that got you to that, right? And on top of it, I mean, I always said, and I still say it to this day, like, lenders, we don't get as many leads on the real estate side because they go to the real estate agent first, most of the time. And when I left, I was in the car industry. That's what it was too. It's like, people don't go to their bank and get a loan and then go to the dealership to get
Yeah.
the car. They go to the dealership and then they say, hey, I got to go to my bank and get my money. And like, well, no, we have the financing here, right?
Hmm.
So it's the same thing, right? They
Yep.
go to the house, the agent, and then that's why we have to show our worth to the agents to build that team relationship to make sure that we can answer that phone and help the client and get them pre-approved and follow up. Um, I've really focused this last year and really getting into talking about KPIs and some other stuff.
Hmm.
I have someone that does all that for me, so
Hmm.
that way I can stay in front of it, and so we don't let these people. There's so many leads that come through that you never even talk to,
Hmm.
or B, you talk to and then they never do an app, or C, they did an app but they never provided any documents, and they're just because they're in their early phases. So
Yeah.
really trying to deliver those clients back to the agents and as pre-approved and staying in front of them and providing those updates. Hey, so and so, here we are, right?
Hmm.
But it's that relationship, it's that team building, it's that I want to be successful, highly successful in this business, and I want to not waste my time
Hmm.
because I've done enough of that in my career.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
We're
but
gonna do some more before
it'll
it's over.
inevitably it'll happen.
Yep.
But to building the teams, that's it takes a minute to get that established, right?
Yeah.
And an understanding,
Yep.
right? Of how that all works. But Dan, do you have any other additional comments at this time you wanted to make, or?
You know, just real quick, what you were saying about your role as a lender in that, you know, in the short time that we have been working with you, and we knew you had a good reputation before. I mean, the team is very impressed. There's nothing like going out to meet a buyer that we got connected on Zillow. You got the email because they wanted information about financing, and there's nothing better than when you email Eric and I and go, "Hey, you know, John Smith is pre-approved. You know, let the agent know."
Yeah,
And now the agent goes out and you're working with somebody that's actually interested in doing a real estate transaction, whether
right.
it's that house or the next one. You have just been on top of it. So
Oh,
it's a game changer. 10 years we've worked with a lot of lenders, a lot of loan officers, and your follow through has just been top notch, man.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that because that's the only way you can keep this business going is to provide the best service possible. And I mean, it's taken a long time to get there for me, but I learned real quick. It's like, that's why I pay a lot of money and got behind the eight ball with paying other people to help in this business. And I got my own team, and I'm having another one joining the team soon because I do think that 2025 going forward, I think 2025 is going to be a very good year, and 2026 might even be a better year.
I think so. We've built our team with 2025 in mind. You know, this time last year we were looking at 2025. We knew 2024 was still going to be a little rough,
Right.
and we've grown in spite of it. With all the changes and people getting out of the industry, we continue to grow and we continue to see success. And yeah, if there are agents out there listening that want to have a conversation, that's all it is. Just a conversation. Reach out. We'll meet for coffee. We'll talk. And if we're a fit, we're a fit. If we're not, then we do a deal across the table someday.
Right.
And we know each other. It's still a small world, even with 20,000 agents in Minnesota. Um, the ones that produce you run across quite often.
Right.
Yep.
For sure.
Hmm.
100%. And that's where on our end, I always want to, because there's so many contacts you have in a transaction, and making sure that the selling agent and so forth, if we want to build our business, but it really helps on my side, like specifically, we got a pre-approved buyer together, and hey, I've done loans with this, the selling agent before,
Hmm.
right? And I've gotten a lot of deals, just because, hey, they know me as a lender, they know I'm going to get it done.
Hmm.
And so that goes a long ways in making sure that everybody is up on top of things.
Yep.
So again, going back to the whole theme of, it's got to be a team,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
really
It's a
does.
team effort.
Hmm.
Yep. For the client and for the people you work with.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks,
Well,
man.
well, Dan, it's been
Yeah.
great having you on.
Yep.
So any agents out there that see this episode, see any of this stuff, please like and subscribe, number one. But if you have any interest in talking to Dan about what maybe a future looks like, please reach out. I'll have all the information below. Looking forward to a great 2025 in this industry. I truly believe that's what's going to happen.
It is. We're going to have very, very good years to come, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.